Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your podcast host here at Action Coach in Central Texas. Today, I have Andies Shepherd, co founder of Next Level Services, on the show. Today, we're going to be talking about his business, journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a sneak peek to what it's really like to build and operate a business. If this is your first time on our channel, be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications when we drop conversations just like this one. Hi, Andies. It's nice to meet you. Can you tell us a little bit about you and your business?
Yeah, hi Kay. Thanks so much for having me on. CEO, co-founder of Next Level Services. We are a full-fledged kind of top-tier service provider here in the state of Texas. We offer valet services, parking management services, level 2 through 4, armed and unarmed security services, kind of as well as all of the little arbitrary services that fall in the cracks of those.
That sounds incredible. And it sounds like it's much needed, especially in the Texas area where there is so much going on.
Yeah, we've had a lot of great over the past, 6 months to a year. We've had a lot of great developments with both businesses. Like we're doing private policing in downtown Austin, which has been huge all over the news, like a really big deal here in the city. And then we just working with some amazing hospitality brands on the parking side. So it's been a great. We're based here in Austin, so I just think we're at the epicenter of like worldwide change. Like the energy here in the city, the synergies, the people, everyone's looking to make an impact, and I think that kind of fits the bill on what exactly we're looking to do as well.
Definitely. I feel that energy as well, just being in the heart of the city and just seeing all the movement. So the services sound like such a great way to go, especially with a city that has and a state that has just all sorts of cool events. And so I'd like to really dive in, talk about your role. You said CEO and co-founder. So what does that look like? Like, what does your day-to-day look like? How many hours are you spending, say, in the business versus on the business?
Yeah, and I love that distinction there. And I think as a business podcast, it's really clear that a lot of early entrepreneurs understand that there is a difference between working in your business, which is kind of obligatory, and then working on your business, which is like the horizon and what's to come and how do you get there.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm really fortunate. We have large teams on both sides of and they are two different companies. So Next Level Valet and Parking LLC is a completely different EIN and company structure team than Next Level Security LLC. And between both companies, we have about 320 employees. So pretty large size companies. And typically my day to day is really working on relationships, whether that's with our team members and our key players or harboring our client relationships. That's the majority of my day: phone calls, emails, lunches, talks, discussions, team meetings. We utilize EOS, which I'm pretty sure you've probably had other entrepreneurs mention or bring up in the podcast, which is Entrepreneur's Operating System, as kind of a framework for how we run our businesses. So we have a level 10 meeting each week. We set quarterly rocks for our executives. We touch up on to-dos and really just have a regular cadence for how we communicate and a framework around that, which has been hugely beneficial to our businesses and to structuring and supporting the growth that we're having.
Oh, definitely. It's so good to hear, you talking about how you are structuring that out right away with the businesses and just like seeing that working and keeping that kind of that accountability through the EOS.
Yeah, I wish I was smart enough to say we started this right away. We flew off by the cuff, seat of our pants for, I think we rolled out EOS in 2020.
Hmm.
So, think about that's 8 years of us operating, really just kind of trying to figure it out, right? I'm an avid reader. My business partner is very studious as well. So a lot of business books, a lot of kind of information around best practices. But
Hmm.
EOS and what Gino Wickman has kind of wrote out in that series really just gave us like that aha moment of like, man, it's so important that you have regular communication with your team, that you
Hmm.
set goals as a unit and as a collective, and then you regularly track if you're hitting those goals, or I should say, what needs to be done to hit those goals, and then
Hmm.
regularly track if you are on pace to hit those goals or what needs to change to be able to do so. It's been a game changer for us.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like what's one of your biggest takeaways from like that you noticed right away, coming off of that 8 years of not using it versus like as you implemented it?
Yeah, that's such a great question, Kate. So I'd say the first thing really is Gino Wickman lays out this philosophy of every business has two functions that are needed. And the I don't want to say the higher function, I want to say the first function is that of the visionary. This is a
Mhm.
person that's good at making relationships, really good at kind of dreaming up the biggest, most audacious goals that you can think of, and then getting everyone excited about it. And
Mhm.
then the next needed role is that of an integrator. And that's the person that takes those goals and really breaks them down into bite-sized pieces that can be allocated out throughout the team and really creates a cadence for how you achieve those big goals. And I think for the first 8 years, me and Hunter are both visionaries. So we're both like, man, we could take over the world and do all this and do all that. But we were really missing that key understanding and that key function of somebody that has the character trait to really get embedded into those goals and figure out how to
Mhm.
facilitate and make it happen. So I would say that's
Mhm.
the biggest takeaway of understanding, like, okay, I'm a visionary. My co-founders are visionary. We really need to find an integrator and then put them in a position to help organize these goals and these objectives that we have to make them
Mhm.
actually come to fruition. And so by far the biggest takeaway, and I think that's what most people find in EOS immediately. It's like, man, I need to find an integrator. I'm a visionary. Most entrepreneurs are just visionary by nature. That's what allows you to start a
Mhm.
business. You have an idea, you're thorough enough to follow up to make it come to life, but then making it bigger and giving it to your team and figuring out a way to make everyone excited about it, you need an integrator to really make it happen. And that was a big change for our businesses, was finding our integrators, putting them in the right position. It just frees you up to be a visionary. It frees you up to focus on relationships and culture, which I think at a certain point become the most important things in a business.
Definitely, definitely. Well, thank you for sharing that growth story. We're all about growth over here, and that's really, really cool. So, I'd like to dive into kind of what makes your business special. We're touching on getting to know your business here, but I'd like to hear, who do you primarily serve? Like, kind of get granular here. Like, if I were in your audience, how would I know I'd be a good fit for your services?
Yeah, so and I'll answer both of those questions. I think the first question was what makes our business special. Um, it's so funny. So and actually, I'll start with who we service, and then I'll go to what makes our business special. I feel like that'll be the more appropriate order. So first, for both of our businesses, we're typically working with either mixed use developments. So these are going to be property management companies that here in Austin, we have a concept like the domain, where you have food, residential, living, and then you have retail, and then entertainment. And you can do all those things in a very confined space. And so that's like our Apex client. We built software for that. We have just a great management understanding of those type of assets. Then we like hotels. We like private events a lot. Like we were kind of talking about off recording. Like we really service a lot of events here in the state of Texas. I think we did just over 200 events last year. Um, and then from there, it's medical institutions and kind of commercial projects, office buildings, residential towers, things of that nature. And that's on both sides. And that was what really allowed us to start the security company, was we saw a lot of our client base had both services in play. They had a parking management company or a valet aspect, and almost everybody that we work with has security. That's just going to be an emerging market, as it's already a tremendous market now. But what we're seeing in real time is that the need for private security and private policing is increasing day to day. And that's really exciting on that front. So commercial clients, we have private clients for the events, the weddings, the corporate parties, things of that nature. And then medical facilities. A lot of hospitals like to have that kind of warm welcome at the front of their hospital to really welcome people in, help people wayfind. So we found those to be great clients as well. And I think ultimately, amongst all the clients that we service and all the things that we do, what really makes us special, and I'm like so passionate about it, I might even get emotional, is it's just the ability to introduce. So we work with kind of an entry level employee model. Like people that are coming in the security are typically coming in level two. People that are coming in the valet or parking are typically coming in out of college. So they don't really have any real a business experience to say, like they've had jobs to get them through school, but no really like career experience. And the thing that we found is, and I think this is also going to answer one of your other questions. One of the things that we found is that a lot of them just don't know, like, how do you actually become successful? Like
Mhm.
it's very easy to say, oh, I want to be successful. but it's very hard. And we found it's very convoluted, like what actually makes you successful. And so we've organized around in both of our businesses is the formula. It's like, look, this is a proven formula that makes you successful. And that thing that makes us different and that we focus on is simply introducing our employees to and living by the value of over delivering, of doing more for people than they expect, doing more for people than what they compensate you for, doing more for people because I'm in a position to versus because I'm being rewarded to. And just living in that area, living in this area where you truly do get what you give. And so that's one of our baseline core values. And the beautiful part about it and the epiphany we had was, especially in the valet side of the business, we can introduce people to this value of over delivery and then put them in an environment where they could verify the reality and the truth of it for themselves. And it's, we have so much data and we've built an amazing internal software that we can really track real time. The valets that make a habit of remembering people's names, hustling to vehicle doors, offering to help people wayfind, greeting people that aren't valeting, getting Uber doors and Lyft doors, people that aren't utilizing the service. Those valets make almost double on average per hour what valets that just feel like showing up is enough make.
Mm,
So one of the cool things about our software is we can now give each valet, based off of real reviews that they get from the people they service, a rating. Out of 5 stars, we can give them like a 4.98 rating, or they can earn a 5-star rating or a 4.98 rating or a 4.8 star rating if they have to, and really know if they're in the field delivering. And what that's shown us is like, man, this over delivery value and goal, it's powerful in every way imaginable. And
mhm,
the example that we give new hires coming in is like, think of somebody that you love. Like, think of your favorite athlete or actor or businessman or investor or forex trader, whatever you're into. And the reason that you love them is because that person puts more into that thing than other people do. It's
mhm,
unequivocal. I've had no one be able to say, "Oh no, that's not true. This guy doesn't." And it's like everyone does. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. The people that we love, the people that we like and revere, are people that go harder in their area than other people. That's the value and that's the formula for success. Truly, it's been the story of my life, of Hunter's life. We've seen it happen time and time again where we make a decision based off of creating value that maybe loses us money or loses us a relationship, but sure enough, real time, that thing comes back around. It's like, hey, remember you told us we didn't need you guys and you saved us all that money. Well, now we're working on this bigger thing and we want you guys. We're not going to
mhm,
put it out the bid. We want you guys because of the integrity you operate with. And so I'm just so fond about it, man. It's changed my life. I moved to Austin 2011, no money. I had $245 to my name,
mhm,
no car, no cell phone. Hunter was letting me sleep on his couch. And so Hunter over delivered for me, right? He's at
mhm,
this 1 bedroom apartment, super small. It's like, man, you can come down and sleep on my couch. I slept on this couch for 2.5 months until we got a spot. And what I realized in my goal for coming to Austin was like, man, I want to redesign myself. I want to be this person that just is a doer in what should be done and what could be done and a cause for good. And I started to read and to kind of sharpen my mind. And the more that I read, the more books I consumed, the more this reality of like, man, you get what you give, you reap what you sow. The people that just give more and do more because they can, that it kept coming up in the weirdest ways, the weirdest books. Like everyone is verifying, like, this is how I got successful. Like, this is what made me what I am today. And it all was on a backbone of like, I just did what I could do to the degree I could do it. And I didn't care if anyone noticed. I didn't care if anyone was giving me accolades for it or compensating me for it. I was getting pats on the backs for it. I was doing it because I could do it. And ultimately, we ended up in this amazing spot. And that's the exact truth in my story as well. So that's what makes us different. It's like we focus on that, we build for that, we train for that, we hire for that, we interview for that. Like that's what we're doing here is teaching people about the value of over delivery and
mhm,
hoping that it provides value, not just here in their work with us, but in their personal lives, which, we have so many testimonials. I get so many texts from new employees coming in and they're like, man, I love the job. Like, this is the best job I've ever had. Like, thank you so much. Like, any more books you can recommend? One of the books that I recommend for everyone that comes into our company, and I'll actually give a raise if they complete it and call me and have a conversation about it, is the go-giver. And so I would say for
Mm,
any entrepreneur out there, anybody getting started out, pick up this book. It's a short book, I think maybe 150 pages, super amazing story. It's a amazing read by Bob Berg. And it just, I think it quantifies what I'm saying so eloquently, is that
mm,
success is on the other side of what are you doing because you can do it, and not what are you doing because that's what you're getting paid for, that's what your job description has in it, or that's what your boss told you to do. It's like, man, if you're cutting hair and you want to be the best barber in the world, how many people's hair have you cut because they just needed a haircut, right? Like, how
mhm,
many cakes have you made because you like to make cakes? If you're always waiting for it to be, what am I getting? You'll never find the success that you're looking for, ever. And if you
mm,
study business, you study successful people, everyone, every, okay, I can't, I haven't been for 5 years now, we've been lasered in on this. I haven't had one person be able to say, no, this person, they had a different story.
mm. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the truth in it. So
It's powerful. That's very powerful. It's very inspiring what you're saying too. And I've even seen it in my own life coming up. And, even in a verse, Galatians 6:9 is like that exact thing. I just read it this morning and I thought, wow,
what is
something
that Bible verse? Say that again.
Galatians 6:9.
And what is it?
It is, I have it here. I wrote it down actually this morning. Let's see. It says, let us not become weary in doing good, but for it is, oh, it is the perception that we will prosper a harvest. Like we will prosper in the end. So like keep doing the good things. And I kind of butchered it there because I can't read my chicken scratch, but yeah.
You're fine. You're fine. And it's just so true. I mean, like so we're doing this downtown policing. So right now in the city of Austin, we have private security guards that are our next level security guards. They're fully armed, fully kitted out, and we're 23 hours a day in downtown. Our body cam footage is going directly to the lieutenant of police at the APD. They're
Hmm.
prosecuting off of our body cams. They're sending out dispatch
Wow.
patrols based off of our reports. I mean, this is the next step in where we're headed as a society, is private policing nationwide. I'm telling you that now in 2024. You can quote me on that. Um, that program started out because we had a client asking us what we could do about the vagrant homeless problem that we were experiencing on the corners of the buildings that he owns.
Hmm.
Right. And so I reached out to Hunter, who's the CEO of our security company, and I said, hey, can you give me a guy? Do you think we could keep this corner clean if we put a security guard out here? Hunter goes, I think I got the guy. Sends me this monster of a guy. I'm like, perfect. Put this guy out there for 3 weeks. We pay for that out of our own pocket. So we paid the guard, paid the security company as it was a regular contract. We didn't ask our client to pay for it. We didn't even tell them what we were doing. We just took the opportunity to say, hey, look, if it works, great. If it doesn't work, no one can come back and say, you made me pay for something that was really just, a shot in the dark. And
Hmm.
within that 3 weeks having that guard out there, we drew the attention of every business owner in that area. And now we have guards from 6 and 35 all the way to Congress and 35, 23
Wow.
hours a day, working with over 20 different private property owners in the city of Austin and talking to the lieutenant of police on a daily basis.
Wow, that is incredible. And it just shows like, their biggest takeaway, we've been having this incredible conversation. And the biggest takeaway is that, that due diligence, that work ethic, that your companies are both showing so much. And I think that speaks so much for, that leaches into everything, like your marketing, your all the work that you're doing, your clients, like that you're presenting to the world a something that is an opportunity for everyone to grow and see how you're working and get inspired by that.
It's true. And I mean, if you live by
Mhm.
that value, like as an executive, as a CEO, as a C-suite in any company, everyone underneath you is looking at your decisions, right? There's one
Mhm.
way to have this public facing persona. Oh, high quality, transparency, integrity. But if you're not living those over delivery, if you're not living those values in the day-to-day communications with your team, they see that you have the ability to do something that's in line with those values or not in line with those values, and only everyone internally knows about it. If you're not living by that credo, it's very easy for it not to be as powerful as it is when every decision that you make, every relationship that you build, every way that you navigate situations goes back to, man, that was an over delivery. That was how we operate. That's what we do. Everyone starts to buy into it. And I mean,
Mhm.
it's exciting. Like I was talking to a friend yesterday about just the excitements that we have with our young teams, with our clients that we have, with the things that are happening in our market. Being in Texas is just an amazing place to be for business. Like, holy cow, we'll look back and say, man, we were at the right place at the right time.
Yes.
Everything we have going on, we're just at the epicenter of what I really have said and continue to stand by. It's like the world is going to change from the things that are happening here in Austin, Texas. Like we just have so
Mm,
many good people looking to create so much value and so much good. Like it's going to ripple around the world 100%. And we'll be a
yeah.
part of it. You'll be a part of it too, right? Sharing all these amazing stories. So just love it.
It's going to be so good. And this has been such an awesome conversation. Like to anybody watching or listening to this, definitely take a pass through this a few different times because there's so many wisdom nuggets. And I would love to dive into a little section before we wrap up. This is our rapid fire section. So
Beautiful.
I ask you 4 questions and it's just for those top of mind answers. And are you ready for some rapid fire?
I'm ready for rapid fire.
Awesome. Question number 1. What is the key to success for you?
Over delivering
Over
100%.
delivery. I love that. What is one piece of advice you have for other business owners?
Find out a way that you can over deliver first for your team and second for your clients, and it takes care of everything else. It takes care of everything else.
And what is one book or podcast or any content that you've taken in most recently?
So right now I'm actually finishing up The Road Less Dumb. I'll read probably 200 books this year. I'm an avid reader. Love this book. The book I would recommend is one I recommended earlier, The Go Giver. I think if you are
Mm.
starting out in business and looking for some really good context about how you should be operating, how you should be looking at opportunities, there's few books that just talk to it so eloquently.
I love that. And our final question is if you had to choose only one area of business you could immediately improve tomorrow, what would it be?
You know, for us, I think that would be asset allocation, right? Like just being almost a Warren Buffett minded person on how we distribute the profit and invest in the future of our business and the future of opportunities.
Hmm. Totally. That totally makes sense. Well, Andis, this has been an amazing conversation. But before we get into our final question for today, how can people get in touch with you? Share your social media, website. How can they reach you?
Yeah, I'm really a LinkedIn. It's kind of the only main social media site that I have, and that's just my name, Andies Andies Shepherd Shepherd at LinkedIn. And then nextlevelsecurity.com, nextlevelvalet.com, next level securities, nxtlvlsecurity.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Andis. And the last question for today is what is most inspiring to you today?
That's a great question. I'd say I get most excited about the opportunities that I can create for our team members and the guys that just really have allowed us to be in the position that we're in. And so I get fanatical about like what the next 10 years looks like for them as a part of this company, as a part of what we're doing.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for this incredible conversation. It's been so fun sharing your story and getting to know you and your business on the show today.
Thank you so much for your time, Kay. I enjoyed it truly.